Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd let you stare at the top of my head with a bright shining light for this video. No, just kidding. This is something a little different. So basically I wanted to take you along on an unboxing, if you will, of my old kitchen box. So I am trying to refresh or rebuild that system that I've used for the last couple years on big trips. So big trip for me is something like a week long. And so over the years, I've kind of had everything evolve into something that looks like this. So this is my kitchen box. It is basically everything except the food or water right now. And so this is designed to be fairly compact, so you can see that this is not a large box. I've gone through a couple of these over the years, but basically this is kind of the size that I've settled on, give or take. I should probably grab a tape measure and measure things for you guys. Should I do that? Yeah? Okay, hold on one sec. A lot of goes into this video stuff. You think you have it all handled and then you don't. So anyways, tape measure. So this box currently measures roughly 17 by 13 by, let's call it 7 for rough numbers. So this will fit behind the seat in the LX45, in the back of my flat fender, things like that. That's why it's so small. I tend to be more of a minimalist when it comes to this stuff. This is even a fairly large and extravagant kit for me. But when you see what's all in here, I think you'll understand that there's quite a lot in here for such a small space. And the way I usually go about these projects is I pick the size of the container that I'm willing to carry first. And then I see how much stuff I can put in it that I want to take. And that limits me on things swelling to the point where the vehicle feels over full. And so I can go through with just empty boxes and arrange them in the vehicle till I feel like that's about the right amount of gear that I want to have for visibility, weight distribution, all those kinds of things, and deal with that as an overall packing plan. And then I go back in and then I will build the kit in the container that I've identified for that purpose. So I do this for everything from kitchen box to tool kits, spare parts, repair kits, all those things. So I think generally for me, that's, or at least from what I've seen, that's pretty unique. Most people kind of go the other direction, I think, and they just get all the stuff and then they try and find a container and then it ends up being this huge thing. And so I constantly try and make these kits smaller, more efficient, and and have more stuff and more things that I like, things that I miss, but it's all got to fit in the container. And so I try to swap items in and out as I identify those things. So anyways, this is my current box. I am going to go through and rev this. So I'd like to take you on a tour through it and show you exactly what's in it, if it'll all fit on this table, maybe. Table, yeah, I can see most of the table. So we'll be able to get some of it, and I'll go through each item, and if it kind of ends up off frame or something, I think you'll understand. So anyways, the box, I do use more of this double-sided hook and loop Velcro, if you will, tape, I call it. So it's basically like reusable and super handy. This box that I've had for the last couple years only has the latches on the side, and so it kind of tends to it'll swell up a little bit if I pack it too full of stuff, but B, if one latch flops open, you kind of get a spill. And sometimes this isn't stored flat, it's stored like this behind the seat, things like that. So anyways, the Velcro hook and loop stuff is very handy. You know, it can be used around camp too for a whole ton of uses if you need to hold something together, or whatnot. So I almost treat this stuff kind of like duct tape. So the lid has had a use, and I don't know if that shows up too much on camera, but I commonly use the lid as a cutting board. So kind of dual function, and you know, the outside kind of gets a little bit icky, but the inside usually stays pretty clean, so you can use it as a cutting surface. The first thing I have in the top is a folding grill for cooking over a campfire. So these end up being kind of schnasty, and this one is no doubt that. So, but it basically folds out, fits over a campfire, and then you know, leaves a whole bunch of mess behind. And that's why I keep it in a bag. So I don't use it a ton, but for certain meals, that campfire cooking thing when you can is sure nice, and it is nice to have a surface to cook on for that. So portable griddle, it is basically the same size as the top of the box. That was just kind of happen chance lucky, and it does come with this bag, so it keeps all the mess to a minimum. And then I also have a actual cutting board. You know, if you're kind of cooking and you need to cut more than one thing, say chicken and vegetables, you can, you know, flip the board over, but generally I like kind of having multiple cutting surfaces. So having this in addition to the lid to cut on is something that I've done over the years. And this is just a like Walmart cutting board that I cut down to fit where I wanted in the box. Kind of your standard just dish towel. It also helps, you know, you can wipe your hands, you can wash dishes, you can dry dishes, you can also use it as like a hot mitt kind of thing if you need to get a pot or something warm, like a aluminum foil wrapped baked potato, whatever. You know, multiple uses. It also really helps fill up airspace and keep the rattles to a minimum. So I want these boxes to be not packed full, but fairly full so that they don't have a lot of rattles. This is a collapsible bucket. So for like dishwater, you know, wash water, that kind of thing, this is a great way to have a fairly large container that will, this one does have a nice, if I can get it all the way unfolded here. This does have a nice flat bottom, so it will sit on the ground or on a table, and then, you know, be full of water for rinsing dishes, whatever, stuff like that. This is, this says it's, you know, 20 liters. So I like, you know, I try to do some of this stuff in bright colors so it shows up and I don't lose it. Everything in black, though, that's nice and clean looking, kind of gets a bit old. These are the cups I use these days. These are basically aluminum Solo cups. So they have the same measuring system, you know, on the side with the ridges. So you can, you know, have rough measurements for volume. You know, I think it's like a 1 ounce shot basically in the bottom, I think it's 5 ounces for wine or something like that, and 10 ounces or 12 ounces for beer. I don't know, something along those lines. But these are extremely light. They're reusable. They hold up better than the plastic Solo cups. You can put warm beverages in them, but you do get, they're aluminum, so your hand gets very hot. These are made by Ball, it says. I believe I found these, if that'll focus. It's an action camera. So anyways, I carry 4 of those just so I can, you know, if I want to make drinks for friends on the trail or whatever else, and they take up very little space. And then you can store stuff on the inside also, which is a little stainless pot scrubber in a bag. And then I also have some fire starting biscuits, I guess, if you want to call them that, in there also. What else? So we have pretty generic long stem, if it still works. Maybe not. Wait. Yeah, okay. Try to check that every once in a while because it sucks to be out on the trail, and have a lighter that doesn't work. But these are pretty good because it's very hard to have the button pushed because it's inside the trigger guard, so they don't get activated too often without. And they do have a very annoying safety lock thing too. So, but I like the long reach ones, you know, for lighting fires, stoves, things like that. They do take up a little more space. They make a small lighter now with a, you know, this long of an extension on it that would work pretty good too if you're running short on space. Again, bright colors. Let's see. So this is kind of like the miscellaneous spice pocket thing. It is basically just got some Tabasco hot sauce in there and some Cholula hot sauce, some sriracha, and if I see, usually this is pretty empty version actually for this. If I see condiment packs at stores, I will usually grab a couple extras and stick them in here. I do try to pull those out every couple, you know, every season and not let them sit in there too long. But that's kind of what that's for. Some 1 gallon Ziploc bags and some quart size ones also for you know, leftovers that need to go back in the cooler. Mixing things up, you can make like damper bread in them or things like that. Just generally handy to have along. You can use them for a trash, you can use them for marinating things. You can break rubber bands with them, but basically just one of those overall handy items that don't take up much space and very useful. Camp soap. This is the Camp Suds brand, which is the biodegradable or the non-toxic for the environment stuff. So you can use this for hand soap, dish soap, hair soap, skin soap, I don't know, all the soaps. So it's a all-in-one kind of thing, but I just keep a small container of it. These containers are pretty good with the little, you know, spout for not leaking, honestly, but I still keep it in a Ziploc bag as extra insurance, because who wants soap in all your camping stuff? So this is your spice container. This is one of the most compact ways. These have been around forever. They're kind of like, what, 5 or 6 spices? Black pepper, salt, paprika, curry, cayenne, garlic salt, all in one. They are, you can, I believe, maybe not. I thought there was a way to refill these. I think there is, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Let me get back to you on that one. I thought they unscrewed, or it might be glued, but anyways, compact way to store spices. Even if you had to replace this when they were all used up, that's still fine. But for kind of the basics, I think this is one of the most compact ways to take some seasonings with you. One of these travel packs of wet wipes, just for being able to clean your hands off and wipe things down a little bit. These do eventually, once you open them up, they go bad after a while, but these are actually still moist. They're almost done. There's, you know, probably only a couple left in here, but you can buy these at any, you know, kind of Walmart kind of store, but don't take up much space. Nice to be able to clean up, wash your hands and stuff like that. Chopsticks. So yeah, different way to eat things can make it kind of fun. These don't take up very much space at all. and I can keep 4 of them for when maybe you have something oriental on the menu. But anyways, hardly takes up any space, and kind of fun on the trail, you know, something different. Lard, this is kind of one of those ones ladle. I don't know exactly why this ended up on here. I think it was for one specific meal that I did on a trip a couple trips ago. But kind of big, and I don't honestly, in this current kit, carry a large pot system. A lot of my cooking is done on a smaller scale. It's usually just 1 or 2 people. On some trips, like when I get together with friends, we'll do a evening meal where I have to cook for a lot of people, you know, like a group of 10 or something like that. So sometimes we combine, but overall that's kind of an odd one actually for me, and I don't know if that'll live in here full time, but unless I can get a bigger pot. I think like a spoon, maybe a large spoon would be better. Not so much like a huge ladle, which, oh, I remember this was for, we did some like birria tacos, and so this was like the ladle for the consomme. Anyways, a fairly large serrated knife just for general cooking chores. I do like these cheap ones that you can get with the guards, so you're not poking holes in everything, but just kind of for cutting, you know, I don't love serrated blades, but for a camping kind of thing where you just need to do who knows what with a single knife, it's fine. You know, especially like cutting bread or, you know, something along those lines. You know, cheap knife, but it still works fine. I do like having these kitchen shears. These are the ones that are serrated a little bit, so they tend to have a little bit more bite. For opening packages, cutting up herbs, you know, things of that nature. I think having some shears, opening up packaging is another one. You know, not always having to pull out your knife and you know, flail about with that. Everybody loves having a pocket knife for that stuff. But I think having some kitchen shears, these are pretty inexpensive. They did come with a nice guard, so you're not poking holes in everything. But shish kebab skewers. So another interesting way to cook on the trail that's a little bit different than you see most of the times, but making shish kebabs is quite easy, and I think it's a fun meal on the trail. You know, just cubing up some meat, whatever you want, and throwing some veggies on it, throwing that on the grill or over the grill. But that's a fun one. These are decent sized ones. I did have to cut them down to fit in the box where I wanted. So they're just, you know, these are cheap on Amazon. I think you buy them in like a dang near like a 20 pack or something, and I just throw, you know, 4 in here, and that's enough for what I do usually with a couple people. And I really like that as a meal idea and a cooking tool. The old hot dog cooker on a stick, expandable, kind of almost required for outdoor activities. But you know, do marshmallows, do hot dogs, all those things. And I thought I had 2, but I guess I just have 1. But 1's enough. It has 2 prongs, so you can make it for 2 people. So pretty easy. Again, cooking over fire kind of stuff. Propane gas bottle adapter. So this lets you go from, I believe, a large like 5+ pound bottle connection on the what you're feeding end to a 1 pound bottle, which is what I'll usually carry for if we have large group meals. That is one thing that I am kind of trying to work on the next kit, is a little bit better stove solution for larger meals that isn't cooking over a fire but is still compact. So, but I do carry one of those just as a backup, basically. And it's, you know, those 1 pound propane bottles fit about anywhere, and they will run everything. There is a maximum output on them, so you got to watch that a little bit. I do keep one of those. It's just a very, very basic version of a propane torch that works on those 1 pound bottles for lighting fires. You can toast or broil the top of something real quick, put some char on something, whatever you want to do that way. And then this bag is kind of the catch-all, but has most of the plates and silverware. So let's see if I can get this off without causing a whole bunch of problems. So the bag just keeps it organized. There is a long titanium, I don't think it matters if it's titanium, I just like this spoon because it's really long and it lets you reach way down into like those freeze-dried meal bags and things like that. But basically long-handled small spoon. And then I do have some two normal just teaspoons, metal though. I do have a story about that was kind of funny that I wanted to share. So I do carry metal silverware for the most part, because, and I actually found one, when that happens and you break the tine on your fork on day one of the trip and you have to eat the rest of your meals with a broken fork, I just don't think the plastic ones hold up as well. So those got deleted from the kit. And then I just, you know, you can find these cheap silverware at the, you know, like local Humane Society thrift shop. But 2 forks, 2 spoons, these are very small little tongs for pulling things, you know, off the fire or whatever that may be, but small enough to fit, not huge, kind of handy. A small knife, again, just a cheapie. Comes with a nice guard though, which is nice for not poking holes in things, if I can figure out how that works. There we go. Not black, so you won't lose it at night. I should have one more of these. I don't know where it went though. So usually I have 2 knives in here, one for each person. I plan for kind of, you know, 2 people at, and in the vehicle is all I'm really planning for. But yeah, need to find another one of those. These are the collapsible mugs. They're silicone. They do insulate fairly decently well. You can hold them with you know, kind of bare hands when you're drinking something, warm beverage, but better than the metal cups. And then these also function as like a small soup bowl. So 2 of those, and then they pack down to, you know, nothing basically. So they're much more easy to store. Don't mind all that dirt, it's just fiber. And then 2 plates. Kind of a mix of a plate bowl, if you will, but you know, kind of when you're sitting in a camp chair and stuff like that, not necessarily at a table, it's nice to have a little bit of rim so your food doesn't slide off the end. But two plates. And then kind of the centerpiece of this system for ever and ever and ever, and I've literally had this since 2005 because I got it for a performance award while I was on the Moyer Rappel crew, which was a Forest Service Hello Rappel crew that I served on for 4 years. So anyways, we got this as a service award, and I've literally had this since 2005, and it still works. It does. The only thing that doesn't work these days is the igniter. I never bothered to replace it. I just use a lighter. But this is kind of the all-in-one system that we that we gravitated towards when I was in fire as a cook stove solution. And they use these small, I think they're what, isobutane? Yeah, isobutane containers. One fits in here and nests. This is their little pot style holder that also nests in there. Honestly, I don't really use this that much, but it fits in there and no extra space. One of these containers with this stove lasts a very long time. You can do pretty much a whole week trip with it. In my experience, a lot of my cooking is based around hot water. This is a very quick and efficient way to heat hot water. So for anything from like morning beverages to freezer bag meals where you need hot water, this is the way to go. But it does leave you kind of limited in what you can do beyond that. They don't make the best stove. You have cookware, in my opinion. I only really use it with the integrated cup that fits on the stove itself. So the bottom comes off. There's a really good heat exchanger on the bottom of these. This is a fold out base that they give you to help from it tipping over. But honestly, I don't really use that much, but it also fits in there. And then this is the stove itself, and just a very small kind of backpacking style stove. Clips on the bottom, and then the gas container screws to the bottom of that, and this is your stove and your cooking, or your stove cooking vessel. And then if you use the lid, it kind of helps the boil time. But that whole system is one of the smallest I've found for a complete stove solution. I don't know if I would ever give it up per se, but I do want something a little bit more these days. So I don't know if you need to see that or not, but yeah, so that is the box. And then lastly, you have the container itself, which hey, look, there's that broken tine for the fork. So that's funny. And you can, so the one thing about using these containers for the cook kit is this can then become your wash tub. So you can have like warm water in there, rinse water in your bucket. And that's the whole, kind of the whole kit and caboodle. These though they do get dirty and collect stuff, but these don't last forever. They are plastic. I do kind of like them being clear so that you can see what's inside, but they do, and I've actually had this happen in the middle of a trip, and this was one of the old ones. You can see it just totally failed and broke. So that's the risk of running these kind of cheap, these are just, what is this, Sterilite? Yeah, Sterilite. I don't know if that'll focus. 15 quart, 14 liter containers, but they're honestly cheap enough you could almost replace them every trip and still come out ahead. So that's my current cook box, chuck wagon, kitchen box, whatever you want to call it. So thanks for getting through that with me. It's kind of funny what's in there and what's not and what should be. I guess if I was really good at this, I'd have a list and be able to track that, but this box kind of stays pretty packed most of the time, so it doesn't change too much. But like I found, like, there should be another of these little knives in there. At least I thought there was. And yeah, so hopefully I'll bring you back when I have my, what I'm going to do for a new stove and the new kit, and walk you through building that with me. But this is where we're at now. So thanks for following along. If you like this kind of stuff, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or need, advice on where to get some of this stuff or whatever, just drop a comment below. And if you like what we're doing on the channel, subscribe, and there's a bell for notifications when we post new stuff. So thanks for following along. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.